Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. I know we've been winning, we've been losing, we've been winning, we've been losing. It's the cycle, it's the roller coaster. Should have worn sunscreen. 1.29 speed, Q4 WYDCSX. I didn't say it. I might be a Marvel fanboy, but I didn't say it, okay? Here's our first real test of the run, let's go. It was all worth it for the free penny. Stats are okay, although if I might be slightly truculent, I would expect them to be a little bit better considering we do have an all stats upgrade, but you know, everything going on here is just fine. Stats are, like, DPS is adequate, not much better than adequate, but adequate nonetheless. Speed is fantastic. We have a book. And I said a book instead of saying telepathy for dummies, because I really think in most circumstances we're going to be mostly happy that this thing can contribute to bookworm. But there is a literal chance that that could be less than it's actually worth. We'll see. I'm probably going to swap it out for the D1, honestly. The D1 is just good enough. You know, we can use it to duplicate a consumable of our choice, or at least have a chance to duplicate the consumable we want, and even if we don't get it, at least it gives us something. That was extremely bad. I actually looked at the map and was like, is this an XL floor? I have been off Isaac for a couple of days, getting ready for being away to preview that Hitman 2 Sniper Challenge. We'll be hearing more about that at a later juncture. I hope you watched it. I know the audio quality wasn't that good. It was kind of... I mean, we were in, like, the basement of some kind of weird venue in Los Angeles. It's not like they were like, hey, bring your studio microphone. We'll get you set up. You know, it was just kind of a makeshift thing. Kind of a last-minute decision to even stream. But I was like, you know, if I'm coming down there, I should stream. Why not, you know? Give the people what they want. What's that? Gotta break them off something. Heck yeah. It was fun. Although I did say at one point, one of the people that we shot looked like Jared Leto. And I said, we got to take him out to stop the standalone Joker movie from happening. And then I thought about it for 2 seconds, and I was like, I've been sent here by WB. That's how you know you can trust me when it comes to sponsored stuff, because I accidentally besmirched the name of, like, the billion-dollar property. I wasn't sent there to cover Batman, but you get the idea. Man, no bombs at all, huh? I fought the bombs and the bombs won. I fought the bombs and the... I'm gonna stop. If I know how. With 8 cents. There's no bombs for sale. We could use any of these. So yes. That is completely okay. I will also buy this, just to give us the best chance of maintaining, deal with the devil chances, which I think we need. I think our DPS is actually a little bit lighter than I gave it. Or I gave it too much credit, I should say. We're going to try to get to 5 cents. If we can get to 8 cents, we could buy our red heart and then still have 5 cents left over with which to maybe get an arcade on the next floor, but I'll settle. I mean, I would settle for anything at this point, but I'd settle for 5 for certain. Come on, come on. Let's go. So we have a blood bank chance, so I'm not going to use Chariot unless the boss warrants it, and my dude warrants. He's like the song Cherry Pie. He warrants. Easy fight, range upgrade, down to the next floor, feeling pretty not strong, but you know, there's always a chance. I know, you know, I was away. Every time I'm away from something, I gotta scratch my eyeball. Every time I'm away from something, I gotta scratch my eyeball. If I could scratch my eyeball, oh, what a tale my thoughts would tell. It's not optometry. Just a man with an itchy ball. Okay. I mean, it is an itchy eyeball. Obviously, we want Crystal Ball. What are you doing here? Don't be ridiculous. Wait a minute, though. Can we get a second bomb? No, okay. Well, I'm not going to belabor the point too much. I don't have that many anecdotes. I'm going to tell you why. I don't travel much anymore for work. It's a luxury, I'll admit. At first, when I was getting involved in the industry, I was like, it's incredibly flattering that companies will, you know, oh no, we made it. You know, they'll fly me out to an event and be like, here, check out Battleborn. And then I'm like, wow, cool, I'm out here seeing Battleborn in California. You know, for a kid from a relatively small town in Canada, it was like being in the big leagues. And then I realized I actually am one of the only idiots on planet Earth that likes flying now. Like, I know it's not super uncommon, but when I get on an airplane, I'm like, relax. When I get through security at the airport, I'm like, this is my scene. Let's read some articles, have a drink, get on the airplane, watch a couple movies. It's a good situation. But I like doing the job more than I like being in the industry. Ooh, how interesting. Like, I like the process of recording, streaming, and et ceteras, more than I enjoy being the guy who was like, hey, were you at that Destiny event? No, I missed you. Did I see you at the Battlefield event? No, that wasn't me. That was my buddy. Oh, well, I'll see you at the Call of Duty event, like, next week. And I'm not, even though I put on what I was about to describe as a funny voice without thinking about how that might be misconstrued as being a little bit offensive, or really construed as being a little bit offensive, at least. You know, a lot of YouTubers kind of live that life, and that's okay as well, if that's what you're in for. I don't know, I said it like it was prison. That was absolutely unintentional. You know, that's the way you want to do it. That's fine. I think it's easier if you're a channel that makes, like, you know, one video a day. Not to say that that's less work than I do, but, you know, if you make one highly edited video a day, for you to be away for a little bit, you know, you're like, no video tomorrow, and people are like, fair enough. You know, I'll see you for top 75 weapons in Fortnite next week. And again, I'm not besmirching that content whatsoever, except maybe I am. Am I? I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of my colleagues. But for me, I'm like, I fell 6 videos behind in every series. So when I travel, it has to be something special. When they were like, hey, do you want to preview some Hitman 2 stuff? I was like, that's special. Absolutely. It's got to have some of my attention. Give it to me. I gotta open it, dude. You know why I gotta open it? Oh, it's so worth it. I'm just gonna double up on cash right now, and I'm gonna take the Emperor card. So I was only gone. I did the NLSS, left Vancouver at like 8 p.m. So as soon as I finished the NLSS, I got on the train to the airport. Got to the airport, got through security. Flight got delayed by like 15 minutes. I'm at the point in my life where when a flight gets delayed, I'm like, that's dope. I can just relax a little bit more. You know, I was a little tight for time, and I don't like to be, so it's a foreign feeling. When I hear that old song they used to say, and they begin boarding, as I see my scheduled flight fly away. So I was gone for like 23 hours, is what the gist of this story is. I left my apartment at 5 p.m., flew out of Vancouver at around 8, landed in LA at around 11, got to the hotel at midnight, hung out with a couple people till like 2, woke up at 7:30, got ready for the event, did the event, ate lunch, back on an airplane back to Vancouver. That's how I like to do it these days. So I don't have much in the way of anecdotes. I wish I did. I wish that you know, next time I go down to LA, which I hope is for a long, long time. No offense. I wanted Spirit Arts, dude. Come on. Hey, that's pretty good, though. Well, I mean, come on now, right? Blank card Joker. You gotta... I don't know why I said it like that. Blank card Joker, dude. Come on. So I'm not, like... I want to buy Spirit Arts, but I thought we'd also have a chance to get one out of a battery charge to begin with. Sure, roll it over. I just want to see what we got at this point. That's fair. So we've bankrupted ourselves, but we did it to get a Joker card with 9 lives, which is great. Because I feel like the first time I was in LA, it was at E3. I was in downtown LA. It was super hot, sweaty, everywhere smelled bad, and it felt a little dangerous. And I was like, you know what? That's not a fair shake. And the second time I was in LA, which was this time, I stayed in West Hollywood, and there's just people passed out all over Hollywood Boulevard, and I'm like, this feels like Vancouver. So I need to I need to rent a car or something, because I hear that's the way you experience it. You get out into like the suburbs. So be cool. Look at that. I think at this point, we might as well. Even though I know it's gonna kill us, you know, why not take advantage of our situation here? So our DPS is still garbage, by the way. We got a lot of utility though. So yeah, I try to be. I hate when people, and this is why I only do this for like one city on planet Earth right now, and it's Los Angeles. So again, if you live in Los Angeles and you love it, you love it. Don't let me be the guy who's like, you're wrong and your city sucks, okay? Most people decide which cities they like and don't like based on like the hip-hop that they enjoy. Or alternatively, they're like, I was there at the airport for 2 hours and I had a sandwich and it wasn't that good. I used to be that guy. Like you know, I was in Miami, and I had a Cuban sandwich, and the sandwich was like a 7 out of 10, came back. I was like, the Cuban sandwiches aren't that good. How do you know? It's famous for them. It's famous for Cuban food, at least. You have one bad sandwich at like the first place you saw where you went up and looked at the menu and were like, oh, you know, it's not that pricey. I could get a Cuban sandwich here in the, you know, it might have been good. You didn't look it up on Yelp or parts unknown, etc., etc. Current events, unfortunately. You get the idea. You know, people do it to Vancouver all the time. People probably do it to the US, I'm sure, as well. I definitely have done it. But, you know, I try to be cognizant of the fact that, like, millions of people live there. And one day, if I insult their city, they may not subscribe. So, that's part of it, and part of it is, like, the motivation to be a nice guy. When people come to Vancouver and they're like, I had sushi and it wasn't that good, I'm like, you messed up, because the sushi in Vancouver is off the chain. I've been to Japan like 4 times. I lived in Asia for a year. Admittedly not in Japan, but, you know, in Korea. The sushi in Vancouver is amazing. It's fantastic. Oh, I went to the first place I saw that had all you can eat. There's your problem, buddy. When people come to Vancouver and they go, I saw Stanley Park, what do I do now? I'm like, nah, you're good, you got it. It's not a great tourist city. It's a good city to live in. Well, I mean, it has its problems, but it's a very beautiful city to live in. But when people are like, hey, I'm in Vancouver, what should I go see? I'm like, you know, well, you gotta go see Stanley Park. And they're like, I know, I did that yesterday. And I'm like, well, you go back to the airport and go home. Like, there's other stuff, but it's not like, you know, I don't think Vancouver, personally, is a world-class travel city. And I stand behind that. It's fine. Because whenever I'm downtown and I see tourists taking photos of stuff, it's always just like a building that's not even really that tall. I'm always like, that's just a hotel. That's just the Hyatt. I mean, it's big. It's probably like, you know, 30 stories. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't be taking a picture of the Hyatt. I don't know, maybe like you work for Hyatt and you're showing off. Like, hey, look at this. It's the Hyatt in the city I'm visiting. I don't know. I don't want to tell anybody how to live their lives. Or they'll be like, you know, downtown, they take a photo of a tree on a busy street. And I'm like, yeah, our downtown's got some trees. You'll get over it. You see it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. I think it's a great city to go to if your entire plan for your vacation is like, I want to eat good food, drink good beer, and be in like a city that is very nice to look at. If that's your idea of a good vacation, or you're an outdoorsman, or woman for that matter, you know, if you like hiking, biking, swimming, skiing, it's a great place to be. Next to the ocean, lots of mountains, take me home country roads, you know. But sometimes, when, you know, it's not like visiting New York necessarily, where you're like, oh, you gotta see this museum and the Guggenheim and the MoMA, and the World Trade Center Museum, and you go to the Empire State Building, and you know, I've been to Times Square. I understand that there's cynicism about Times Square, but, you know, there's only like 4 places like it on planet Earth. It's like Piccadilly Circus, right? It's like if you're in London for the first time, you know, you gotta go to all the places that the movies have shown you. you gotta find a stoic guard in a Beefeater hat And you just run around, and I don't know why like every movie in England has this. You know, they always, we're in England, baby! London calling out the sound of apple. And they always are like, let's make a Big Ben! You know, Big Ben's not the name of the clock. It's not the name of the tower, it's the name of the clock face. Now I'm from New Zealand again. Now I'm Indy Mouse. That was more British again in the end. So you gotta pose next to the Beefeater guard. I'm using Little Brim exclusively right now. You gotta, you know, I'm on London Bridge, baby! They always, every single movie. They don't, you know, movies don't go to Canada that often, but when they do, they evoke the same kind of stereotypes. It's a moose! You know, I've never seen a moose in my entire life. I will admit, and this is gonna sound like I'm trying to sneak a joke past the DeepMind language filter. I've seen a few beavers in my day. I've seen a lot of deer, but I've never, maybe I've seen a moose at like the zoo. It's me in an igloo. That's insulting. That's actually an insult. We don't live in, it gets annoying sometimes. I don't even, you give me like 6 bone hearts or something, right? 1 bone heart, that's close. Don't take this the wrong way, okay? But sometimes, you know, I'm from Vancouver, and I'm not trying to make every video like, please educate yourselves, Americans who don't know anything about the world around you, okay? Because that's an insulting thing to say. You may indeed be more worldly than I am, but like I was in LA, and then maybe this is just a California thing to be fair. But when I was in LA, people were like, oh, you're from Canada, huh? How's the weather up there? And I go, it's pretty warm right now, you know, it's like the summertime. And they go, really? Yeah, you know, like, I live like 150 miles outside of Seattle. Would you ask someone that lived in Seattle how the weather is like up there and act like they were trying to trick you if they said it was warm? I don't think so. It's just, you know, the stereotype. You get it on both sides of Vancouver, and I'm not complaining. I'm leaving this floor, though, because I'm going to complain about my DPS in just a second. Because in Vancouver, when it's cold, like genuinely cold, you go, oh, it's cold today. And then some dude who lives in Moose Factory, oh, it's cold there, huh? Oh, how cold is it? -10? That's cute. It's -45 with a wind chill outside. You go outside, you got to keep your eyes closed. If you open them up, they might get stuck that way, you know? Like, okay, congratulations, you live on Hoth. Here's your recognition for making a terrible choice. I'm not saying it's terrible. If you want to live in Moose Factory, live in Moose Factory, but don't use it as like a weird thermodynamic Olympics sort of thing every time. But then, you know, when you live in Vancouver, and you're like, it's hot. People that live on Quito, Ecuador. Oh, that's cute. It's hot there, huh? Well, I live on the surface of the sun. It's 1.4 million degrees Kelvin. Oh, it's 30 degrees Celsius there? That's cute. And so in 30, it doesn't go the other way, because like the classic, and I grew up in a place where the winters are like pretty bad. Not quite Moose Factory bad, but pretty bad. You can get up to like the point at which Fahrenheit and Celsius meet up, and you're like, what temperature is it? -35. Celsius or Fahrenheit? Take your pick, dude. Doesn't matter. So I've had many days like that in my life. And what you always do when you live there is you go, oh, -10, huh? That's cute. Over here, -10, we wear shorts. It doesn't go the other way for heat, and of that I'm eternally grateful. But hopefully by making a logical extreme, I can illustrate, if you live in one of those northeastern climates, how stupid that is. Imagine if you were like, hey, it's 30 degrees here. And they're like, oh, 30 Celsius, that's cute. Where I live, 30 Celsius, you wear a winter coat. You would just be like, that's dumb. Isn't that uncomfortable? For some reason with the shorts, you're supposed to be like, oh, wow, you must be a genetically strong specimen. There's always like, you know, again, if you're wearing it for your own comfort, don't let one jerk making jokes about it on the internet stop you. You know, you should wear whatever makes you comfortable. I know I do. People make, hey, look at that guy wearing the hoodie. I'll be like, yeah, that's me. I'm the dude wearing the hoodie. You know, I'd rather deal with the humiliation than put on a button-up shirt for the most part, unless the conditions require it. But anyway, it'll always be like March, and you'll see one dude has like a t-shirt and shorts on, and you're like, man, who are you trying to impress? It's actually just still cold. It's warmer than it was yesterday, but it's not warm. I just don't understand if it's... And maybe I'm missing the point here, okay? I'll admit. I should have sucked up Krampus's head as well, but... maybe I'm missing the point here, but... I just don't think there's ever been a situation where, you know, a woman has said... Hey, who's that guy over there wearing the shorts in March? He must come from strong stock. I know that it's technically still the winter time, and probably I would be more interested in meeting somebody who understands the fact that there's nothing shameful about wearing climate-appropriate clothing during the seasons in which it was made for, but I don't know, there's just something about the dude in the shorts. I love a man who has slightly higher cold resistance than the average person. If we blow this up, does it make a bridge? Yes, it does. Poop bridge! I had to try, you know. You never know when a song's gonna work. I don't think Poop Bridge is gonna take off. We have to leave, by the way. And there's still red hearts available. Dude, this run, the DPS on this run is bad right now, but with enough deals with the devil, surely at some point it can recover. Even our HP's not that good, but that's a 9 lives sort of foible, isn't it? Maybe they're wearing them. Maybe they've been living their whole life. Because I know, don't take this the wrong way. I think it has a high overlap with people who might be watching me play The Binding of Isaac. Ooh. Suck it up. Because it's like a dorky thing to do. And don't take this the wrong way yet again. I just feel like... the place where I see it the most is that it's an event like PAX East. And it's literally like -10 Celsius. And there's dudes in the convention center wearing shorts. That gets a little hot in the convention center, but it's the winter in the blizzard. Like, I just don't understand. Maybe you've been sitting inside all winter being like, man, it sucks, I can't wear my best shorts. In that case, I understand your positioning. That's how I feel in the summer, when I'm like, can't really justify wearing a hoodie, basically ever. That almost gave me a heart attack. We can't afford it because of the bone heart. Still, now we can afford it. And it should still leave our bone heart intact. This was all worth it for Rotten Baby, by the way. Still not quite that, like, 10 out of 10 game-winning item, but it can be if our damage gets up there. I have always just seen this, and maybe this says it more about me than it does about the person wearing the shorts. I've always seen it as just like the weirdest kind of like superiority grab. Like, hey, check it out. Oh, you're wearing pants? That's cute. I'm wearing shorts. I wish I was born during the Nordic age. I would have been a marauding Viking. Now I'm a QA specialist, and you know from my prior conversations, I admire that career path greatly. We can take it, okay. I'm just getting a little weirded out there. So we're 2/3 of the way to getting to that guppy item. Dude, it's so weird as well. Like, again, I don't want to make this too much about me and my weirdness during these trips, but like, when I used to go to media events, we were all talking about video games like all the time, okay? And that's cool, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, I'm in this weird like indie bubble, so the other guys were talking, you know, it's like being in high school again, but like not knowing anything about sports. So I actually, it's a metaphor I'm obviously constructing because I watch a lot of hockey, but you know, they're like, hey, you know, I saw you at that Battlefield event. How'd you like it? Oh, it was pretty good. You know, the stuff that we can't talk about yet is going to be a bombshell, but yeah, whatever. And then, you know, oh, how do you like the guns in this new game? And they're like, oh, well, the recoil reduction's ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah, me too, guys. Fortnite, right? Dab on the haters. But then, like, I found out one of the people there who quit his job as essentially like a software developer to be a YouTuber, and it was on. It was like take your kid to work day. I was like, hey, what'd you get your degree in? Hey, oh, you worked for that company? What'd you program that in? Oh, that's cool. What was that like, you know? And I'm pretty sure this dude was like, I just want to talk about Hitman. But I was like, nah, dude, it's not about that, okay? We talk about games all day. Why don't you talk about something interesting, like what you did for a living before you quit your job? You know, to pursue your dream. I have no idea how to interact with people in this industry anymore. It's weird. I try. It's not like I'm impersonable, and I'm not super weird, at least. I don't walk up to the table. How you do, fellow gamers? Happy to see ya. We all ready to enjoy some video games today? No, I'm just like, hey, what's up? You know? I'm not some kind of weird, you know, bridge troll sort of situation. I do not want this. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I got like a little bit of video game nihilism. And I think that it's easy to misinterpret that as being cynical about the state of the industry. It's not. What it comes down to is, and it's not meant to be like a hipsterism sort of thing either. It's just like, you know, sometimes I forget what battlefield we're on. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, Battlefield's Battlefield, and, you know, yeah, this game's gonna come out and it's probably gonna be pretty good, and then people are gonna forget about it in a year, and then, you know, I'm just like, I'm existing like outside of that hype cycle where and by the way, when I was playing Hitman 2, I was like, you know, the sniper challenge stuff, I was like, this is sick. This is a great time. And that bumped me out of that cynicism a little bit, but I was like, man, I don't want to know about the games. I want to know more about you personally. I don't care about your YouTube channel, like, you know, what's your life like? Where you live? Not like your address, but like your region. What's it like there? You like it? What's the trade-off? Because, you know, it seems like, you know, the housing costs are low there, but at the same time, you've got less of an access to amenities. You know, do you like that? What are your plans for the future? What's your 5-year plan, you know? Probably just being, like, really, really, really annoying. And yet, somehow, I keep getting invited. I don't understand it either. You know, video games are products, man. And art, but also a product. YouTubers are people. I don't know if you knew that. I'm pulling a David Cage on you right now. Did you know that this human being is a person? Wow. My lord. I can't believe... Necropolis 2. Okay, so we actually are at least at boss rush, which we will never qualify for, obviously, in a million years. But at least we're here. At this point, I don't like to use the O word, but the game owes us some money. And by money, I mean damage. That was just a weird misspeak. Sorry, I thought I was doing my other job, which is breaking people's kneecaps over debts that they owe to the mob. And again, like, I don't want to talk about that. I'd rather talk about, like, where do you live? Obviously, we've already been in here. We're one item away from becoming Guppy. We're also one hit away from losing a life. So it's a very strange situation. Okay, well, there's some very good stuff. Can we even... I don't think we can afford it. Yeah, so we'll be eager to get back here as soon as we get a spirit heart. You know. Help. I also, like, I might take Brother Bobby, but I gotta think about it. I should be using Little Brim, probably as much or more as I'm using Ludo. But whatever. Hey, it's Guppy. Alright, so the dream is real. I don't think anybody on Earth is gonna be mad at me if I keep Guppy's head over, Void. But I'm going to take Void. You have my word. For now, though, I'm just enjoying the fact that, you know, with one little item change, all of a sudden, we look like, what are you complaining about? Like, we're so strong now. And we're not even so strong now, but... We don't even really want to void Guppy's head, which is, like, the beauty of that, actually. Ah! Yeah, I think, like, I'm always a little defensive, because people... and I don't want to, like, put this on anybody... roundtable at all, but I think I'm being painted sometimes, or I have been painted, as this guy who, like, he doesn't even like video games anymore. And it's not that. I love video games. I probably play more of them than anybody else on the friggin' show. And not just for cynical reasons, you know? I'm the guy I've been playing this game for 7 years. Still enjoy it every single day. I enjoyed cracking the puzzle how to get to where we are here. But what I don't get anymore is, like, crazy hype about AAA games. And it's not because I'm cynical about them and they're gonna be bad. It's more just like, I think I've been down that road so many times. Like, a feature means nothing to me. Whenever, you know, I used to be a kid and I would read, like, you know, official PlayStation Magazine, Nintendo Power, EGM, and stuff like that. And I'd be like, this game's gonna have a smash processing, a brand new style of OpenGL 3D vector rendering. And I'd go to school and be like, dudes, it's gonna have smash processing. Like, as soon as I heard it in my head, I was like, well, you're not excited about this game? Are you stupid? Do you hate smash processing? It's gonna revolutionize the industry like we know it. And then, you know, you see it one too many times and it comes out and you're like, I mean, it's good, but I don't even know where, I can't see the smash processing. Like, I'm just kind of like, I'm more like, I want to put it in my hands and see how I enjoy it. Because it's hard to tell. I thought, like, one of the games that I was quietly kind of excited for this year was Far Cry 5. Because the gunplay in Far Cry's 3 and 4 was excellent. The story had a unique and twisted bend to it, and it seemed like they were tackling some interesting subject matter. Everything on paper, I beat Far Cry 4, which is not really anybody's favorite Far Cry, but, like, I beat it and enjoyed it. By the end of the game, I was getting a little sick of some of it, but I was still like, you know what, that was a worthwhile investment of my time for sure. So, all the stars seemed aligned. I should have been the guy beating the drum for Far Cry 5, like, this is gonna be a game of the year, man. Then it came out and I played like 3 hours, and I was like, I mean, it's like, kind of good, but, you know, it's not that I'm trying to be negative about it. And I know a lot of people really enjoyed it, and a lot of people had big problems with it for maybe having a certain lack of courage in the way that it approached its narrative subjects, but I digress, because none of that really mattered, because I just wasn't compelled. It's something you can only tell when you've actually played it for yourself, or if you're, like, all in, like, a complete stand for a genre. Like, I don't like Zachtronics games because they're made by Zachtronics. I can tell you, full stop, as soon as I hear the concept of a Zachtronics game, like a 99% chance whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. Because he's just making, and I don't want to, you know, make this sound rude to Zachtronics, the maker of games such as, you know, Space Chem and TIS 100 and Shenzhen IO and Opus Magnum, etc., etc. But my dude is making the same game over and over. It's just like, hey, it's the programming game but with chemistry. Hey, it's the programming game but in 3 dimensions. Hey, it's the programming game, but this time you're not really programming, you're making elements, or you're using elements to make molecules, but it's kind of, you know, it's the programming game, right? And that's great. Every time one comes out, you're like, I hope it's a programming game. And he's like, it's a programming game, but you use cars. And you're like, that's genius! And I admit that 100%. I can't wait for the next one. I don't want him to deviate. I want him to keep doing what he's doing. I shouldn't say him, because I know he has... I know he has. I know that the company employs more than one developer, although still not that many. But still, you know, his name's on the product. His name is Zachtronics. I should check and see if that's like a Yera. But yeah, you know, apart from that, like if you know you're a Far Cry fan, you know, that you're like, I'm the Far Cry dude on YouTube or something like that. I get it. That's a different story. But when people are like, oh, what do you think about the simultaneous hacking enabled in Watch Dogs 3? I'm like, I don't know. Just because a feature sounds good doesn't mean it's good. Like I feel like the industry is a problem on the critical side of like trusting back of the box quotes too much. The most immersive environments ever. You can't put that. I mean, I'm the judge of whether the environment's immersive or not. Is immersion even good in every game? I don't know. I think we've got like a tech debt in the gaming industry from like it exclusively being enthusiast press for like the first 20 years of its existence. I mean, Algiz is great. Anyway, this is a rant I go on all the freaking time. It's just my way of saying, you know, I like going to these events and talking to other YouTubers and Twitch streamers and being like, how did you get in this crazy path? And they're like, I don't really know. I just, you know, there's only 2 stories, and it's great because there used to only be 1 story. But, you know, the second story, to start there, is always like, you know, when I was a kid in, like, middle school and high school, I was, you know, watching other YouTubers, and I decided, I could do it myself. It doesn't look that hard. And I'm like, yeah, no offense taken. And you're right, it isn't. And then I decided to do it for myself, and it took off when X Game came out, and then, you know, here I am. And I'm like, that's a cool story. You're like a second-generation YouTuber. Every other story, and this is what it was like when you went to events in 2012, 2013, you know, et cetera, and still is like, you know, half the stories in the game is like, the career didn't exist. I just started filming stuff with the handheld camcorder, and it sort of took off, and nobody knew what they were doing, and here we are. And I'm like, yeah, my people. I'm with you, dude. But it's cool that, you know, when I started going to these events, you know, in like 2012, 2013, you would see like the same 15 YouTubers at every event, and I stopped going to them consistently in like 2014, 2015, because I like streaming more than I like being in an airplane. And you'd start to see like new people, and you're like, this is cool, it's really taken off. It gives you a certain sense of, I don't want to say satisfaction, but you're like, the industry has gone from like, you do what? To like a real thing. And now I'd taken a couple years off from going to an event. It was wild. I was like, I don't know any of these people. They're all fresh-faced, clean-shaven, early 20-somethings. And I'm the old man who's like, I don't do clickbait. And they're like, yeah, well, why do you hate yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. Thank you for the validation, though. It's not that they all do clickbaiters. I recall a story, and it's water under the bridge at this point. But at one of the first events I got invited to, I was on a bus from the airport with the other people that got invited, and there was like one of 3 YouTubers there, which was crazy because I was a nobody. Somebody in the company really messed up when they invited me, and that was the start of a beautiful and long-lasting relationship with that company. Anyway, we're on the bus, and there was a lot of like website editors and writers, and a couple of magazine writers, because that still existed. Beyond just Game Informer. And they were having a conversation about YouTube, probably thinking like, hey, YouTubers haven't cracked through that bubble yet, you know? They're not gonna be here. And they were like, I don't know about this YouTube thing. Like, it seems like it's really starting to take off, which definitely... And by the way, I don't wish these people any ill will. It's just, you know, today you, tomorrow me, right? Like... Please let me take this. I'm gonna be the guy, and I've said this 100 times. I said it about Vine, and I was way wrong. But it's like one day there's gonna be like a new video game platform. Everybody's gonna be live streaming on Facebook, and I'm gonna be like, you know, Facebook, that'll never take off. But anyway, they were being very dismissive about it for one, and I can understand why, because they're like, you know, I got a degree to write about this, and I'm being usurped by like 17-year-olds with a dazzled DVC 100, but you know, it's kind of the way the business went for a while. And they were like, yeah, so we're gonna like do YouTube, but unlike most YouTubers, we're not gonna do it like, he said the S word. He's like, we're gonna make it not S, you know, not crap, basically. And I was like, wow, dude. I'm right here. And then later we shook hands, and you know, he's an affable gentleman who I believe no longer works in the industry, which is probably for the best for him, to be honest with you. But, you know, this... I say this not to be like, nobody took us seriously. Womp womp. More like, you know, things have changed a great deal. Now, it seriously used to be like you'd show up to an event and they'd be like, who are you? And you're like, I'm Ryan. And they're like, Ryan, what outlet are you at? And you're like, YouTube? And they're like, oh, one of the weirdos. You're one of the weirdos we invited. Now when you show up, they're like, hey, big fan of your content. Can I get you a seltzer? And you're like, can you just tell me where they are and stop calling me Mr. Laterno? I can handle it myself. I'm not like other YouTubers. I'm a cool YouTuber. You don't have to call me Mr. Laterno. Some YouTubers still have a chip on their shoulder about it, too. The mainstream media never took us seriously. Well, now we're seriously taking your jobs. Like, just doing a cut it out gesture. You're making the rest of us look bad, dude. You got the greatest job in the world. People send you money for playing video games. It's backwards. Just don't rock the boat too much. You might tip the boat over. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're back. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps it a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.